Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody in the room with us today and everybody on the Zoom call. Thank you for joining us. I'm Johanna Hutchison. I'm the Executive Director of the International Sculpture Centre, publisher of Sculpture magazine. And our organisation was founded in 1960 to support artists and the form of sculpture. The organisation was created to advance the creation and understanding of sculpture and its vital contribution to society. So today I'm really excited to present this panel, and I'd like to introduce our panelists that will be speaking today. We're going to start with Marie Nevelson here. She's the founder and executive director of the Louise Nevelson Foundation, located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The foundation was established for her grandmother in May of 2005 with a mission to educate and celebrate the life of the work of artist Louise Nevelson, a pioneering 20th century sculptor whose signature Black sculpture creations of assembled wood objects transcend space and transform the viewer. John is a mixed media artist, creating narrative portraits and assemblage with objects collected from his own life and his own subjects. He is also founder of the Maximal Art Inc., known for its modern vintage fashion jewelry and gifts sold under the John Wind brand. Erica Battle is the John Alchin and the Hal Marriott curator of contemporary art in Philadelphia Museum of Art. She works with art and artists of the mid-20th century, up to today, and across painting, sculpture, performance video, and new media.
When I really knew that she was somebody was when I was 7. So in 1967, she had her first retrospective at the Whitney Museum in New York, and I lived in Connecticut, so my mom took me in. There was a long line around the block, and my mom moved us past, and I'm very polite, probably think still today, so she's like, I'm like, oh, we're supposed to get room, you know, like behind everybody else. Later turn. She's like, no, not us. So, okay. So we moved up and around to Madison Avenue and walked in the front door. And that's kind of when I was like, oh, they're here to see my grandma.
When did you kind of understand that she had this kind of larger creative life?
Right. When I was growing up, until I left for college, Dina was still very much a painter.
Right.
I left the house in 1979 and she was just starting sculpting then. So what I knew of my mom was that she was a painter, and I would help her stretch her canvases, which made me feel, very, very useful and important. And we did that down in the basement. And then when I went off to college and she started to take the sculpting more seriously, I was a little bit at a distance from it. But what I knew all along was that my mother was an artist, a professional artist. So Dina didn't have that Whitney moment, so I don't have that kind of, aha moment with her. But I would just say that all along, we took it as a family very seriously, and she took it seriously from day one, and I just accepted that as who she was.
Right.
Dina and I were at Nexus Foundation for Today's Art, and so when she had her shows, they were I could see the connection with my grandmother, but they were so strong, these pieces on the wall, and I just enjoyed seeing that, and I enjoyed seeing that come from a woman who dressed beautifully and feminine, and she had a great figure and everything matched to us. And then she put these strong things, and you go, that's her up there, And I just appreciated seeing it. It was real clear, pure energy out there. There was nothing. It was really a joy.
What ended up happening was, you wouldn't have really predicted it, but Dina at one point in the early 2000s basically said, you know what? I'm done with it. I'm not going to worry about that kind of commercial success anymore. I'm going to stop making discrete objects that can be sold, that a gallery can show easily. I'm just gonna trust my gut and start working in a bigger, more experimental way. And with that, she started doing these room-sized installations that, in retrospect, really, were the absolute pinnacle of her career as a sculptor.
Yeah.
And it was only because she wasn't finding the traditional success that she was conditioned to look for that door opened.
Well, not later, but I guess later in her life, when 1958, she started really create these environments, which is what your mother also was doing, was they were getting so fluent with this material and their style that they create these environments that we were left with. So you mentioned before Moon Garden +1
Right.
at Grand Central Moderns in 1958, and then they went to 1959 at the Museum of Modern Art with Dawn's Wedding Feast. And all the white, like the sculpture with a white interior. And then she ended up at the Venice Biennale in 1962 and created 3 environments, one gold, one white, one black. So she's doing this environmental thing, the architect of environment or whatever, but it was that need. And I find that interesting with your mother also, that she would work a whole room. Now I've done interior design, and I know there's another interior designer in the room here, and we work rooms, I used to do that. It was fun, it was every element from ceiling, floor to ceiling, walls, baseboards, whatever, it's fun. But they were doing this with their artwork.
Right.
So it's so much more fluid and freed up. What a wonderful thing for them, but also for us to experience. So I started in 2005 because there was, I started to be asked to give lectures and talks on my grandmother. I say now what I'm doing is for 50 years from now. So I'm 62, I'm not gonna be here in 50 years. I'm trying to do things, plant them. I did oral histories. I gave one to the Archives of American Art. That's where so I don't want to hold these things. I'm different as a foundation.
Right.
These are things I'm going to
Finding
plant,
things,
so that they stay for out there for a long, long time. So
Well, let's hear a little bit about your foundation, and then we'll bring Jerry on to ask him some questions.
Well, our foundations there's similarities and there's differences. The similarity, of course, is that our goal is to nurture Dina's legacy and get her work out there and for a new generation to discover. We have 2 primary goals. One is the legacy piece of it. And then the second is to continue doing the civic work that Jerry and Dina together were so passionate about, supporting living artists and art organizations in the Philadelphia region and beyond.
But when we saw the piece in the TV room, the large explosive Nevelson, it spoke to us. I saw that we have to have it. And actually, those who are here, you can see, we built the room actually around it. We're planning to build a.
That was going to be one of my questions. One of my questions, I always ask collectors, do you buy for your walls or do you make walls for the art that you buy?
But we're planning to add a family room, a TV room, because I took from my study what they originally was supposed to be a family room. And then when we saw this piece, we said, okay, we have to design the room so this can fit this. So the room's really designed for, and everything around this piece. So the piece was really the centerpiece.